welcome to another bonus episode, a very special bonus episode of How We Made Your Mother. We call these bonus episodes, what do we call them? Oh yeah, general questions.
General questions. I give that a C-.
What? That was great.
I thought it was as good as we've done it.
Which is a C-.
Yeah. I also, is there a rule about, because I just did it with my left hand and I realized
I think it's right. I think it's got to be the right.
It's right hand, right?
Yeah, man.
It's got to be right hand.
All right.
Anyway,
we're falling apart already.
Welcome to general questions. General.
Not to belabor the point.
That was the worst
All
yet.
right.
There.
We are answering all your questions and doing. Can I just let me say something? I woke up in Ann Arbor, Michigan at 4:30 in the morning to catch a 7 a.m. flight from Detroit, and I'm here. And you guys know that's just my deep commitment to this gig.
Yeah, man.
And my friendship with you.
Oh.
But I feel this is maybe useful because I feel probably like Ted felt when he woke up with Trudy and the pineapple. I am as disoriented.
Yeah. So you were in a different state. You were in Michigan. Here you are. You're back in Brooklyn, and you're somewhere. Your brain and awareness is somewhere between those two time zones at the moment. Yeah.
It's probably in one of the Great Lakes.
Hovering over a Great Lake. Okay.
Yeah.
It'll drift back here as we go, I think, by the time we're done.
Yeah. And I will say this, if this is purely anecdotal, but it does feel like the people that were coming to my shows, a lot of them were listening to this podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
And maybe watching. And maybe it's a self-selecting crowd because people who love this podcast and love the show maybe would want to come hear me play music. But it was a great affirmation. And hilariously, one guy in Ann Arbor said to me last night, he said, "That podcast is so deep. It's so deep. It's like a college course on making a sitcom."
That's really cool. That's a compliment. Thank you, Josh's audiences, for listening to this podcast. You made him very tired. You all tired him out from this tour, and now he's all tired and screwed up today. But here we are.
And when I would normally talk about it was when I was introducing New York City, the song that is the theme song to this, because I would explain to them that I offered you guys this song for free out of the generosity of my heart. But it's fun that it's having another life as our theme song.
It's great.
So I think a lot of people knew it. We're singing along. It was awesome.
It is the next best thing to getting to put it on How I Met Your Mother, for which we would need a time machine, and we're not quite there. We're 5 years away from that, to quote Mark.
We want to get New York City on there, and we want to get Tegendary in there.
We should have for when time travel ggets invented. Alec, will you keep a list?
Yep,
keep a list of things we'll go back and do. Yeah. Those are the only things. We won't alter world history in any way. We'll just do that.
We're not going to kill Hitler, but we're going to get Tegendary in there.
Fine, we'll also kill Hitler. So it's Tegendary, that song, and kill Hitler. That's the list. Is 3
NYC.
things so far. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Keep it running.
Right, but Alec will keep a list.
Okay, what are we actually doing? We're doing pineapple.
We're doing bonus questions on
pineapple GQs.
Pineapple.
GQs.
Whatever you want to do. It's fine.
What do you got for us, Alec?
Let's do this as long as we're here. All right. So we covered this in the main episode a little, but I feel like since it was 75% of the questions, I will ask again. I'll give X unlikely Japanese credit for the simplest version of this question. Why a pineapple?
I think we talked about it with Carter. With Carter, we just... It was definitely the initial idea was Ted wakes up and stuff's weird. There was not a pineapple in like the log line of the episode. But I think it was just that it's just such a memorable, strange. I think it was like, honestly, what will look cool spinning out at us in that crazy like memory freak out, when Ted is doing the shots and it cuts to black. We thought, what are cool images? And I think we thought of a dragon, which is why we had Carl, the bartender, invent a red dragon. So there's like a red dragon flying out. A pineapple just looks cool flying out at you in this like crazy swirling vortex. I think a lot of it was just what would look cool in that visual. And then we kind of reverse engineered it from there.
Do you know what just occurred to me is the somewhat clinical word incident is kind of funny. It's like, it almost sounds like HR wrote it. Like we're referring to the pineapple incident,
Well, do you want to know? I can tell you exactly what that is. And I wanted to bring this up with Carter. It is our fondness of the writer Gene Shepherd, who wrote and created A Christmas Story, in addition to a lot of other great books and stories and stuff about his childhood. He would take things from his life and call that and make them sound like historical events. The Scott Farkas incident. I think he literally says incident. When he beats up the bully, when Ralphie beats up the bully, and the Scott Farkas incident would be talked about for decades after. And you see it, and it just makes this life story seem important. And we very liberally borrowed that technique all over the place on How I Met Your Mother, including that phrase, the incident.
I mean, I love that because that's a writer who's mythologizing his life, which is what Ted is doing. Narrator Ted is doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I also think,
huge influence.
Craig, have we ever played the game? This is an on-set game that I play with people when you're waiting around for them to, set the cameras up and light the scene. It's a game you play mostly. I learned it with actors, but you can do it with all sorts of people. So it's called Human or Alien, right? And essentially, like, all people are either humans or aliens, right? Tilda Swinton, alien, clearly. Right? Sandra Bullock is a human.
Yeah.
Okay. Vincent D'Onofrio, alien. Tom Hanks is a human.
Literally,
right?
Wasn't.
Yeah. So, like, I would say I'm a human. I played a couple aliens, but I'm a human. Neil's a bit of an alien. Like the way he, like, just comedically, he's kind of an alien. Tom York is an alien. Right?
Yes. Good one.
Yeah.
Total alien.
For sure.
We never have determined Meryl Streep is either an alien who's very good at playing humans or a human who's very good at playing aliens. I'm not sure which. But anyway, this is going very deep. I've done this with Jordana, like with plants and flowers. There's certain plants that are human flowers and there's certain plants that are alien flowers or plants. Okay. I am hereby making this declaration. A pineapple is an alien fruit.
Oh, yes.
It makes no sense. It's encased in this sharp, stingy thing. You can hurt yourself on a pineapple. You can weaponize it. But if you slice it open carefully, there's deliciousness waiting for you. So I would say the pineapple, you had to choose something of an alien fruit because it's so disorienting and strange that it's there.
Yes, that's perfect. It's inherently mysterious, right? It has to be, you can't just eat it. You have to fight it to eat it. You have to fight it and carve into it and excavate it. You got to skin it and kill it. It was the perfect mystery. It's a little weird mystery box.
If you eat the outside of it, you'll probably die.
It's fighting you. It is fighting you to the death. And it's that's why it's perfect. It is. It's like the most mysterious fruit. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna say it's the most mysterious fruit.
It also looks vaguely like a head.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's like it's trying to be a human. It has come here to be among us.
You put some Mr. Potato Head props on a pineapple.
Mr. Potato Head.
You've got yourself a great scary doll with Sideshow Bob hair.
With Sideshow Bob hair. Totally Sideshow Bob hair. It is. It's like Ted had a three-way with Trudy and this anthropomorphic piece of fruit. Who knows how it was involved in what happened?
Well, that's foreshadowing to her coming back on the show.
Yes, by the way, it really does. See, we knew what we were. It was a master plan on our part.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to know what that means later.
And I wrote you this little ditty to sing to you in New York City.
Craig, summer's approaching.
It sure is.
Can you feel it?
It's in the air.
Though, like, the weather's been confusing in New York, right?
Very confusing.
No idea. Take an umbrella, don't take an umbrella. What jacket?
Yellow umbrella, no yellow umbrella. It's a whole thing.
So, as summer is approaching, my schedule starts clearing up around July. The missus, is that what I call my wife these days? The missus?
Oh my God. I've never heard you use that term. Is it 1953 already?
I think so.
The little woman?
So. The little lady. I'm going to take her overseas.
Really? This is also very old-timey speak, by the way. Overseas?
Yeah.
Are you going to take a steamer cruise?
Well, whatever. I'm going to wear a three-piece suit on the plane, I'll tell you that much. I dress up for travel.
The twin prop plane. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to Fantasy Island. No, we're considering. Tell me what you think about these destinations. We're considering Portugal. Have you ever been to Portugal?
I've never been. I hear it's amazing.
Okay.
I have nothing to offer you though. All I can say is it's amazing.
Maybe a little time in Mallorca, where I was in Dea, the only town I was in. But Mallorca has beautiful places, beaches. Sardinia. Do you know anything about Sardinia?
See, that's cool. Has the missus been to Mallorca? Has the missus been there? Because
Never.
it's nice to take her somewhere a little bit, and you take her around.
Well, I only know this one town, but we might do a couple days with friends, maybe in Mallorca, and then pop over to this little sleepy beachside place in Portugal, and then spend a couple days in Lisbon, and then head home.
Okay, I'll come. This is all leading to you asking me to come.
This is awkward.
Or is this?
This was not.
Is there another
an
motive to this
invitation.
conversation?
No, I just wanted to hash it out with you. It's my friend, but now
this is really uncomfortable. Really
now I have
weird.
to say, stop inviting yourself on my vacations with my wife. It's just there's only space on the steamer for me and the missus.
Okay, fine. But you know what? Listen to this though. I have an idea. Even though you completely iced me out just now and kind of broke my heart on camera while it's being recorded, I will say this much. What is happening to your place while you're away?
What do you mean? My place is just sitting here, just collecting dust and cobwebs.
Just sitting there.
Yeah.
Josh, you are missing a huge opportunity here, my friend.
Really? Tell me.
Huge opportunity. Two opportunities. One is inviting me along on the vacation. Opportunity two is while you're away, you could make a little extra cash by hosting your place on Airbnb.
That sounds like a great idea. The former one about you coming with us, I'm not so fond of.
Let's settle down that. Okay. Well, maybe I'll Airbnb your place while you're away, so I'll at least feel close to you.
Oh my God, that would be so.
I'll be the guy.
Would you use a fake name? Would you come in with like a bad mustache and wig?
Yeah. Not Craig Thomas.
I know that's you.
That's my alias is not Craig Thomas.
Greg Tomas.
Greg Tomas. Yes, from Portugal.
Well, your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
End of commercials. Back to show.
Uncommon_Skybry or Skybry asks, has the pineapple changed your lives forever? Like post HIMYM life, have you gone to the grocery store and chuckled at the sight of one of it, or attended a graduation or birthday party and someone points it out? Hey, you should try the pineapple. Like there's got to be a lot of things in your lives, both of your lives, French horns and pineapples alike and anything like that, where all of a sudden they are so associated with you. These regular things are just associated with you as human beings walking the planet. What is that like?
I would say I've never associated How I Met Your Mother with pineapples. That's not a prop that has woven its way into my life. I will say red cowboy boots and yellow umbrellas, when I spot them in the world, I do think about How I Met Your Mother. And sometimes, especially with the red cowboy boots, people will kind of hold them up for me and show them to me. I think it's people have such an association, and then they see me and they, kind of make that association for me. Like I'm not walking around with that radar super highly attuned, but other people are. So they remind me of it, and people, I signed a lot of blue French horns and yellow umbrellas and red cowboy boots on tour. Like people bring them
just
along.
Now? Like you did like last week you were doing that? That's great. That's really funny.
Someone also made me, speaking of, I got a lot of those kind of friendship bracelets, where they put I think it's like a Taylor Swift phenomenon, but they do, But people made me a bunch of them, and a lot of them were music related, and a few of them were How I Met Your Mother related. But I did get a Tegendary one from a listener.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah. And I wore it at the shows.
Coined on this podcast.
Yeah.
By my
I
son.
think Tegendary is going to take off. I really think it's we've put it in the bloodstream of the culture. It's coming on strong.
Yeah, we got a really cool piece of fan art. I'll call that out by I think his name was Audie. You can find it on the How We Made Your Mother Instagram and everything. All the social medias. It was so great. This really beautiful piece of art, Tegendary, with this amazing piece of art of Ted and the yellow umbrella. Like check it out on our socials. It's really cool. We are very honored that there's fan art for the podcast already. That is very cool.
It already feels like an antidote to classic Schmosby, which is not my favorite.
Why ever so?
It's just when you're a 50-year-old man recommending a book you loved on social media, and someone writes classic.
That's the worst. Okay,
that's the humbler. That's the humbler right there.
Tegendary is going to just slot right in there. Classic Mosby, X'd out, strike through. Replaced by Tegendary. To answer that question too, I will say that you do see a lot of yellow umbrellas walking around New York City, and every time I think, were they a How I Met Your Mother fan, or do they just have a fucking yellow umbrella? Which lots of people have that. So it's always, but I do always think about that, and I do when I see a pineapple think about this episode. Yeah, it's been branded into my brain for sure.
We do own Tegendary.com, by the way. We haven't done anything with it, but don't try to get it. We have it. And we'll figure that one out.
We're newly committed to winning the domain war name.
I know.
Domain names war.
So many precious websites over the years.
Eric_Garber says, I love this kind of narrative trope where characters reconstruct an event backwards. Were you inspired by any fictional work, or did it come from any real life event?
I always hasten to point out that this was years before the movie The Hangover, just in case anyone thinks we were trying to do we'll do our Hangover episode. No, we did it before they did. But it
years
is
after Dude, Where's My Car?
Dude, Where's My Car? Carter pointed out that there is some Dude, Where's My Car overlap, although I don't, I can't say we were explicitly talking about that movie when we were doing it. Maybe it was in the back of our heads. But yeah, I mean, there's, we're playing with the idea of memory all the way through the series. So anything where you're kind of, the movie Memento, right? I mean, things like movies you've watched where people are just trying to reconstruct stuff and there's clearly a large cinematic history of this sort of trope and the multiple perspectives needed to fill in the narrative. Obviously, Rashomon, going back to Kurosawa, there's just that idea of you're not going to get the whole story from one person. You need all these different pieces, and it sort of comes together. Obviously, that's, lots of murder mysteries play that way, and lots of dramas, and Tarantino does that. And so I think, yes, we were a big, crazy patchwork quilt of influences there for sure.
It's also a bit of a kind of microcosm within the macrocosm. What they're doing in the episode is what he's doing throughout the whole series, which is I'm piecing this together. I'm piecing parts together to create a larger narrative of what happened and how we got here.
Yeah, and I love the compressed time frame of it, that it's almost in real time that next morning. Even Marshall making microwave popcorn is the exact length of the commercial break that followed him starting. He comes back, the popcorn's made, and he keeps going. I love the sort of urgency of that, and obviously there's tons of our favorite movies have large stretches where the whole movie takes place in a compressed time frame. It's really hard to do that.
It's also, we talked about this a little bit, but Marshall and Lily's investment in what happened is something that is a runner through How I Met Your Mother, that the characters are pretty fascinated by each other and they want to hear their stories. They're not looking at their watches or phones or, trying to get out of, it's not when someone's telling you a dream and you're kind of all right, well, let's wrap this up. Everyone's as invested in the other person's stories as the protagonist of the story is. There's something very sweet about that.
Yeah. And it has a murder mystery vibe. We were talking about this, there's a body in the next room. She's not dead, but there is someone in the next room that they have to identify who it is. And so I'd say the mystery trope was a big part of just the overall inspiration for this one.
We'll just do two other quick ones here. Two people are interested in how the shooting order of a television show, especially for something like this. Art Larissa says, can you walk us through the order of the shooting? What did you shoot first? Is it flashbacks first or the bar scenes all at once? Love you. Thanks for creating the show. And Becca, not art. Oh, interesting. Art.Larissa and Becca_not art says, how do you plan shooting so many scenes that need to come together to form a timeline that makes sense? This episode jumps around so much, but then comes together so satisfyingly piece by piece. Who plans for the shooting order of a television show like this, and how do you keep all that straight in your head?
Yeah, well, I mean, we should do a big shout out there to our producer Susie Greenberg, who is amazing. She produced virtually the entire series of How I Met Your Mother and virtually the entire series of Seinfeld. Cool overlaps there. And she, for both of those series, Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld really put her through her paces of having to produce crazy shit all the time, and we just kept on and kept that rolling for her on How I Met Your Mother, because it was a huge challenge to do. Yeah, this episode has a lot of different scenes. Luckily, a lot of them take place in our existing sets, right? There's a lot in the bar, there's a lot in the apartment, and it feels like there's a ton going on, but sets wise, it was actually kind of great because most of it takes place there. Robin's in a cab. So you have to move these things around. You say you shoot all the bar stuff, you shoot all the apartment stuff, you shoot all Robin in the cab stuff, and we have 3 days where Susie Greenberg and Pam Fryman, our director and our amazing crew, have to sort of like Jenga or whatever puzzle piece that together. How do you make that all fit into 3 days? This one has the illusion of seeming like there's more going on than there really is, because it really is mostly the bar and the apartment. And you see the bars, you see the bathroom in the bar, which doesn't always happen.
Yeah, you see Ted's bedroom, which they had to fly that in because that's not like just sitting there off stage. It was in a whole different little area of the stage. Just another shout out to Susie Greenberg. It occurs to me, and maybe it's just because I've been watching The Pit, she would have been a great emergency room doctor because she is unflappable.
Yes,
I never
that is totally her energy.
saw Susie Greenberg look stressed or like, oh, we're not going to figure this out. Like, she never panics. Like, I know why she's working at the top of her game. She absolutely just figures it out.
Yeah, every once in a while she would come into Carter in my office because we'd ask so much of her. We were doing 70, 80 scenes an episode sometimes. Every once in a while, like 5 times the entire series, she would come into our office and just look at us and go like, no. And we're like, what? She's like, I saw the new outline. No.
That is like an emergency room doctor, because they're like, we can't save him.
We can't save this one. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And you really, really believed her when she said that, just like you would believe the emergency room doctor in that circumstance. Like, you're like, all right, Susie said no. This means that, like, anybody else, like, we would have heard so many more no's from a lesser producer. We could not scare her no matter what we threw at her a couple times. And when it was no, it was always budget. It was always like, we can't justify the cost of this one. And usually that led to us having some creative fix that preserved the spirit of whatever we wanted to do. But what a wonderful, wonderful, huge, heroic piece of the HIMYM puzzle Susie Greenberg was. I mean, just made shit happen.
And a delight and easy to be around and work with. And I do remember doing almost all the drunk Ted stuff on one day. I think this is my memory of it. I think it was the first shooting day. I think it was a Wednesday. We did all the drunk Ted except for the bathroom scene with Trudy, which I think was on Friday. And I think all the bedroom stuff, or all the apartment stuff was Thursday. Now, this is 20 years ago, but I don't know why I have a very strong memory of this.
I'm really impressed that you can even pretend to conjure that together, but that sounds right. That sounds absolutely right. Like, the bathroom set was completely different. The bar bathroom is a different day.
Sometimes the order you shoot it in doesn't serve you because it's all over the place, and it's based on like what actors are, what availability we have, or literally like we can't build that set until Friday. We need to shoot all this stuff on a Wednesday. But in this one, shooting all the drunk stuff first was actually quite helpful, because by the time I was doing it on Thursday, I kind of had that in my bloodstream. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Yes.
it was useful, the order. And I think that Susie and Pam did try to pay attention to that as much as they could, but you can't always get it just right.
They did. I guarantee you they would have thought of that. I guarantee you they probably thought, Josh can be hungover these next 2 days. Let's have him drunk first. That's just the narrative order. I guarantee you they thought. Pam was great at thinking about stuff like that, because Pam could really think in the actor's shoes. She's a wonderful director because she really thinks, how will they want to play this?
And I can't tell you how many times, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast, I can't tell you how many times we did early morning scenes first thing in the morning. Because I remember like coming to work and having to get in pajamas or like a t-shirt and like sweatpants, and Dave Baker being like, what cereal do you want? What breakfast? How do you want your coffee? Like, and I was just like, this is the greatest job in the world. Like, it's 9 a.m. I'm drinking coffee and eating cereal and talking to Jason. Like,
Yeah.
I was just messing around with Jason, and then the cameras roll, and I'm still messing around with Jason. It's just like we have lines where we have to say. But I always thought they did try to pay attention to the arc of the day in a good way.
Yeah, we should also credit Michael Shea as part of designing those schedules.
Michael Shea,
our wonderful AD Pam, and they 100% thought like that. They thought, what's the verisimilitude we can create for these actors to feel like this is a real universe that they're inhabiting. They're experiencing these things kind of like they would really happen. And I think that goes a long way to creating the vibe.
I remember a lot of times we'd be rehearsing during the day. We'd break for dinner, let the sun go down, and then shoot those nighttime scenes.
Yeah, there's a rhythmic thing. There's some like circadian rhythm like thing that it really matters. It really does help.
Something else that matters now. When I worked there, I just worked there for a little bit in the bowels there, but I saw a lot of what's going on. And Craig, I mean, you between you and Pam and Susie and Michael, I mean, the fact that people are nice really matters. It really matters to an entire work environment. It's definitely something that I have taken with me of people that I ever want to work with, of just like, you might be best at your job, but you just need to be nice. I just want to play with nice people.
Yeah.
And it really filters throughout.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
It shows in the art. It shows in your days. This is you're leading your life. You're not just creating art. You are living your life, and to be surrounded by people at the top like that who are nice, who are friendly, who are looking to be positive means something.
There's some real misconceptions. Josh has wisely pointed out a few times, Josh, because you're very you've got some great things to say about creativity in general, and the idea of sometimes that there should be an effortlessness sometimes to things. It's things you don't. It's not always this force it into being work ethic. Well, similarly, I think there's a misconception that if we're all stressed out all the time and people are mean and people are playing scared and we're afraid to mess up, that is how we get results. And I think some shows and some businesses and some, well, let's just say it, American governments work that way. And I think that that's not true. I think that's a huge lie. And the best place I've ever worked, the best places have always been the ones that are nice, and the worst are the ones that aren't. And I don't think it changes productivity. I think you want to have a level of respect, and you want to raise your game so you're like worthy of these amazing people you get to work with. But when it doesn't come from being nice and kind and the kind of shared mission of like being excited about what you're doing, I do not think you're going to have a good product. I don't think you make good stuff out of fear. I'll never be convinced out of that.
I also think that has so much to do with Pam just being the loveliest person. But also you and Carter, Craig, like I want to shout you guys out because you never, I mean, day one, season one to the final day of season 9, like there was no detectable difference in your guys' attitude around the work or there was no change in, I mean, you started off incredibly kind and lovely to work with, and you ended that way. And I think that in some ways, we were talking about like that thing of like ignorance is bliss. Like some ways you didn't know any better on certain levels, and other things you actually intuitively understood this in a deep way. But I think like there's something really nice about you guys were just like menschy, nice 29-year-olds, and you ended the show like menschy, nice 38-year-olds.
74-year-olds.
Yes. It never occurred to you guys to be tyrannical or, like my way or the highway. Like there was never any of that. So I just think that it does trickle down from there. Most of the time, like when you hear about those toxic sets, it's generally someone pretty unhappy in like the tone setting. Oh, yes. What did I say?
Generally, we're going for something there, but did we find
General Lee? Yeah, was it first name Lee?
It's a reach, but here you go. Here we are. We're in general questions. We had to try.
Yeah. But you hear it's a person who is pretty unhappy, who is in the position of power, and the contagion of that really spreads.
I 100%. And I think that it's that fear thing. It's playing out of fear. If I make people afraid, they'll do their best work. It's a lie. That will never be true. And I think it's just gratitude. I was so grateful we got to write things that an actor as fine as yourself would do, that a producer as good as Susie would figure out how to puzzle piece to make happen, that a director as good as Pam would direct. I never for one second didn't feel amazed and overcome with gratitude walking into that stage and watching everybody put together these sets for ideas we came up with the day before, and they stayed up all night building that. We're going to need the bar bathroom set for this. We had this new idea for a scene of Ted and Trudy in the bar bathroom. Let's say it's that type of thing. Someone stayed up late and built that set, and they're going to have to tear it down to build the next thing the next day. It's just like I just felt such gratitude, and I know Carter did too, and all the writers, because you just couldn't have asked for a better team. And I think it just all comes from gratitude. It's just all never lose sight of how amazing it is to write something and then 100 people yes-and it into existence. That's a miracle.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think that the tone of the show, I mean, it sprung from you guys in your life, but also like it ultimately at the end of the day is people who really love each other and crack each other up sitting around a bar trying to figure out life, right? And to work in an asphyxiating, tense environment while you're trying to do that, it's just not going to be great. Like, you want to feel like, oh, we're just having some Chex Mix and sitting at this bar, and there's Carl, and there's Wendy the waitress, and like it has an ease to it, the vibe of the show. So you want the vibe in some ways to match the backstage vibe, to match what's in front of the camera. And I think we did that.
We did. It was a thing of beauty, and it doesn't always go that way. And I think that energy plays into what gets on the screen every single time.
All right. Well, as we reach close to the end here, I always want to thank everyone for scooching over, making room for us in their lives, and sending their questions through Instagram and everywhere, Facebook, YouTube. I'm forgetting some, through our website. Go to the contact page. Absolutely. There's one question that came to it that is from the How We Made Your Mother Facebook group. So not our Facebook page, but that group there, the fan group. You should go. Conversation's getting wild over there. Now, she asked a great question. Unfortunately, I think this is gonna drop too late for us to give her some advice, but maybe we could just congratulate Marissa Rosie. Says she's getting married. I think she's getting married literally 7 days from when we're recording this. This is not going to be. But
congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I'm sure it was great. Best wedding I've ever been to. What?
She wanted to know what's the way that she can incorporate HIMYM or HIMYM into her wedding to make it legendary. So again,
we'll just say congrats because we're too late. But we've seen some amazing, some yellow umbrellas, some blue French horns, some HIMYM themed cakes. People share their weddings with us all the time on social media, and just again, that gratitude thing of like, how are we so lucky that the show can be a part of like the most important day two people share? It's really, really humbling and thrilling. So thank you for even thinking of that. Sorry, we're too late with a good answer. But
well, I would say, I mean, anyone who has that kind of question, I would say, you could get in the weeds on like HIMYM props and napkins that have whatever prop you like on them. But I think like, if you really want to honor the spirit of the show, I think it's about being very present and alert when you're having, every day, every moment, but at these crossroads moments, at weddings and, even funerals or engagements or first dates or eighth dates or whatever. I think it's really about showing up for it and being present for it and kind of realizing that it's happening as it's happening. And I think that being present is the antidote to nostalgia. That if you're really present and you live strongly in the moment, you won't be pining for the past because you'll have shown up for the past. And then, your memories are more indelible, the more kind of awake inside of them you are. So I would just say enjoy every moment of it.
I am guilty. Please acquit me. All sins are forgiven in New York City.
How We Made Your Mother is hosted and executive produced by Josh Radnor and Craig Thomas. The show was produced by me, Alek Lev, and our co-producer is Doug Matica. Our audio producer and mixer is Alex Reeves at Point of Blue Studios, and our digital content producer, aka Gen Z Master, is Emily Blumberg. Artwork by John Morrow. Please follow, rate, and review the show on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. It really does help the show. Our theme song is NYC by our own Josh Radnor, with additional music by Craig Thomas and Andrew Majewski. Special thanks to Lola Kennedy and Elliot Connors. Visit howwemadeyourmother.com to sign up for our Substack mailing list and for links to our social media. You can also click on the contact page to send us an email or a voice message. Your stories and questions are an important part of the show. Want some merch? Click on the store link or go to howyougetyourmerch.com. Subscribe to Josh Radnor's newsletters on Substack. Order Craig Thomas's debut novel at craigthomaswriter.com/novel. And you can subscribe to my Dead Fathers Society, also on Substack. To learn about how you make a difference, this show's ongoing campaign to raise money for congenital heart disease research, check out the Make a Difference tab at the top of our website. This episode was made possible by the support of Backyard Ventures. People will, in fact, dance.
The real question, it just hit me. Am I in love with you, or just New York City?